as well. All right, everybody. It's Thursday. Time for the Thursday morning open mic. I am, for the first time, I'm going to try this out. I'm streaming on my phone. Good morning, Nick. I'm streaming to Instagram on my phone and doing the StreamYard thing simultaneously. So we're going to see how this works out. For today's show, I got a couple cool things going on. I was been running around like crazy, picking up books and all that. So I'm going to start as we always do. Got my Red Sonja Storefolio. And we're going to take a look at what I picked up at the comic shop yesterday. Been kind of a light past few weeks. I don't know if I'm just not interested in what's out there, or I have such a backlog right now that I'm trying to catch up and not paying a whole lot of attention to what's new on the shelves. But I was able to pick up a few cool books that are all over the place, it looks like. Hey, Big Herm, good to see you. So we're going to start off with, wow, that is like way off center. So if we move that over there we go. We got Venom 35, which is the 200th episode, and Donny Cates last. Super excited to see what's coming up. They, of course, set up Ron V with Dylan and all that. So this should take off in a real interesting direction. I expect it to become more dark, if that's possible with a Venom story. So really excited for that. Grabbed Aliens number 4. Now I haven't been reading these. I read the first one and I was just so on it. Greg from the LCS has said that it's a super cool story. So I'm picking them all up at number 5. I'll sit down and read the first 5. But cover art's been really cool. Apparently the story got a lot better after number 1. So, hey, Caps on Comics, how are you doing today? And then we picked up Silver Coin 3. 2 is kind of, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as 1. But 3 apparently comes back around. These are anthologies, so you can read them as they go. But I have a tendency to agree with Bueller's take on this book. If it's not about the coin, then it kind of doesn't make sense. And number 2 was part of the story, but not really integral to it. So really interesting to see where they're going with that. And of course, make sure I'm in order here. Firefly, brand new verse, kind of a Zoe-centric story. This is issue number 4. I pick up all the covers for Firefly. They have some spectacular artwork, kind of in that neo-American Oriental style, almost watercolor in nature. If you're a Firefly fan, this is a fantastic book. They've done a really good job with it. I like to see, to me, Zoe, of course, is one of the better characters in that Firefly universe, and I really dug what they're doing with her character. Got a couple more people showing up. Missing Link, how we doing this morning? Mars, hello. And let's see. And then I snagged, so I'm buying the Sumerian. I follow it. It's a great story. I love what they've done with the barbarian character, very much like the Howard Conan the Barbarian books. Really, really loving the feel and the imagery that they've got for it. They've done a spectacular job. I grabbed this one because the heavy shading on that sketch cover is just spectacular. It makes Conan look like a brute. So grab that one. Another book that I really enjoy, I grab both covers for it whenever it comes out. It's intended for younger audiences, but I really dig it. Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. Godzilla story. And it focuses on Godzilla and the kaiju and kind of their society and interacting with humans. They always have a really cool, like, 60s kaiju movie throwback cover. And those have been pretty cool. So Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, snagged that one. And of course, keep these coming. Get those codes for the grandson. The artwork in this is actually pretty good. I haven't read the story. I know nothing about Fortnite, and I'm not looking to learn. So I haven't read the stories. Maybe I'll find some time and sit down and read them once we open them and get the codes out of them. But I flipped through the first one, and the artwork was pretty decent. I don't know. It might be the best story I've ever read. I don't know. I'm kind of highly doubting it, but you never know. And of course, the one that I just can't wait to read. It's been a fantastic ride so far. Layla's Star. I grabbed the chromium covers. I don't know why, they just appeal to me. But yeah, Ron V's doing some fantastic writing in this. It's been a great book. I highly recommend this one. But that's what I got for my weekly poll. Steve, we're about to show off some goodies that Steve sent in to be pressed. Let me just get through some stuff here. Yeah, Layla Star, Mark says his favorite book currently. It really is that good. You know, the writing is so, it just grips you and pulls you right in. It's just fantastic. Hello, wifey. How you doing today? Tomorrow. Like, this is how far my backlog goes. I have not watched tomorrow's Wednesday show. Like, I was able to fucking get caught up on Lame and Frame last night. Like, even my viewing has been way behind. Summer just kind of hit us out of nowhere. I want to show off a couple. So Father's Day is Sunday, and my kids are going out of town. They're going to be in Vegas over the weekend. I have the grandkids here. So they gave me my Father's Day gifts yesterday. Got a nice #1 Papa Star Trek shirt. And this is so cool. Like, this is for my Trek geeks out there. Woo! Got my own tricorder, so I can spend time scanning for errant life forms. So, you know, the goal is I'm going to put on my Captain Kirk shirt and go to the mall and walk around scanning cool things at the mall. So that's super cool. And I was with my son yesterday. We went to the game store. He's really into card games and stuff like that. A lot more so than me. I played Magic back in the day, and I'm kind of getting into that a little bit more now. But we went to the game store, and he talked me into buying something. So if any of you are into this stuff, he told me these were a good investment. I'm buying these purely for the investment because I have no intention on ever playing Pokemon. But we did grab a couple boxes, Elite Trainer boxes. Got the red, the blue. They didn't have the yellow. So I was going to buy them with the intention of opening them up because he was so excited to get his, and he's like, no, keep them. You'll sell them for triple the money a year down the road. So we'll kind of see where this goes. Know nothing about the trading card game. Used to play it with him 20 years ago, but not currently up on that. I'm a big Pokemon Go guy, and I don't play that as much as I used to. But do we really have time for anything other than comics nowadays? It's been just insane. So got back from an appointment today and had a completely unexpected AOK in the mail. And I was so jazzed. I don't typically get AOKs. I think I've gotten one or two in the past. And it's not about that. So, but it was just really cool that he thought of me and sent this to me without solicitation. I didn't even know it was coming. And I opened up the box and I was just blown away. Still don't know what's in most of it, but this is super cool. Little wooden Iron Man, hand painted. Got his own Iron Man base. So we're gonna put that bad boy up in the spot of honor on the shelves behind me. Really dig that. Oh, maybe that'll go in the display case in the playroom. I don't know. I'll figure out something cool to do with it. All of this came from Bobby Delgado. A great guy. If you're not up with Bobby, he's very positive. Always has cool things to input into the conversation. Just an all around solid community member. So really dig that. Got that. Sent me a T-shirt. So now I think TM's got one of these. So me and TM, we can be comic buddies. We can be twinners. Very cool. 50th anniversary. Clint's Comics in Kansas City, Missouri. 50 years. How impressive is that? Next time I'm down in that area, I'm going to have to check that out for sure. Kansas City, Missouri. So I get down that way. I've got kinfolk down that way. So we get down there once or twice a year. You have to swing in and check them out. And then got a nice thick mailer here. And let's see what we got. So right off the top, you see King Conan or Conan Ray. All right, got a little note here. Nice. What? Wow. So super cool. Bobby D hooking me up. Nice personal note from the gentleman. And we've got Clint Coblet Comics, established 1967, which is a coincidence because I was established in 1967 as well. So very, very cool. Oh, wow. An autographed Murphy Anderson card. Very cool. Comic artist extraordinaire. That's super awesome. And we got some Mexican Conan the Barbarian. I'm actually wow. That is spectacular. I'm just a sucker for the Conan. So this again. What? Oh, this is just too cool. Signed by Roy Thomas and Murphy Anderson. Wow. So this is a signed Roy Thomas Conan the Barbarian from Mexico. Very cool. What? And a Bobby D original. What's up with that? Wonder Girl. That's going to go. I'm going to get that slabbed up and we'll hang it with the rest of the originals. What did he do? Okay, you guys got to check this out. All right. So you open the cover, he die cut it to go with the first page. How awesome is that? Wow. To the Rogue Trader, Bobby Delgado. Right on, man. That is super cool. One of a kind, Bobby D art. And it just keeps going. Oh. Okay, so this would be, oh, nice. Some pressing that he sent for me to get done. Some very cool stuff. Predator. Now this is a great series. The Dark Horse Predator Alien stuff, if you don't have it, they did them in like 4-issue limited series. So, you get 4 issues of Predator Cold War, 4 issues of Predator Earth War, 4 issues or it was Aliens Earth War and Aliens. And they're really affordable still. I was lucky enough, I ended up with a long box full of the stuff that somebody had donated to me and made quite a few sets. I still have a few kicking around. And then, of course, with Marvel picking up Aliens, it shot up a pretty decent amount. Oh, you didn't think I'd catch you. What's up, TM? How's it going? Everybody, GM made it? Yeah, Dark Horse goodness. So the Dark Horse Predator Alien stuff, fantastic stories. That's what inspired like the Alien Predators movie stuff. So we got Avengers Infinity, very cool stuff there. Oh wow, Marvel Spotlight 8, beautiful Ghost Rider cover. That one's super cool. Amazing Spider-Man 71. Anything below 100 on ASM is just a steal, right? It's so hard to really get a hold of them anymore. But yeah, that's super cool. And we got Fantastic Four 154. Nice book there. So we got some pressing to do for this gentleman. Wow. So we've got, I wonder, somebody can let me know, are these Lamer frame boards that Bobby did? Pretty cool. Wolverine. Not sure who that is. And then got some custom art on there. I may be swapping out those backing boards. CGC don't need them. So very cool stuff from Bobby. Some a fantastic AOK. I'm super pumped. Gonna get myself a slab for the Bobby D original. I'm pretty stoked about that. Very cool stuff. I will get those processed a little bit later. once the live's done. All right, so I'm going to pop that. So Steve, who is in the chat right now, sent some books to me to be pressed, and I thought I would show off a few of those. So if y'all remember, it was, I don't know, when was it, Steve? Maybe about a month ago. Steve sent me a big stack of, I keep wanting to say Strange Tales, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, it was Strange Tales. Big stack of old Strange Tales. And I went through them and I showed them off on the show, and we discussed a few of them. And he sent me another package with just some crazy books. And it's funny because this cat sends me books and he's like, it's just a bunch of old stuff I have sitting around. I figured it's time to do it. And then he sends me, these outrageous books, just some old stuff sitting around. I wish my old stuff was the same quality as his old stuff, right? Bob, how's it going today? Bullseye Bob showing up to say hi, everybody. But so there's definitely too much. I processed his books yesterday, intake, and there's definitely too much to show every single book. Hey, Bob, since you're probably not going to catch the rewind, check this out. Bobby Delgado sent that to me. Very cool. I can't get over that. The grandson's on it and flipped out. And then, yeah, an original. He die cut the face out of the cover. So crazy. So crazy. Anyway, so I can't really show off every book that Steve sent, right? Because that would take forever because there were just so many of them. There's so many great books. So I randomly grabbed a couple of the Geminis to show off what's in them. I've got one here that I'm currently working on. This is going to be a huge book. It saw some gains recently. And I will even bring it up. On my cover price right there. So Web of Spider-Man issue number 1. It's still I'm not sure what happened there. All right, are we working again? All right. Okay, so Web of Spider-Man number 1 is the book that we're talking about. And we've seen some gains on this. It was actually highlighted on a couple channels. Comic Tom had mentioned it. Not sure it was on his top 10 or on his Wednesday show. And I've heard a couple other people talking about it. But it is a classic cover. In my opinion, probably the greatest black suit Spider-Man cover out there. Just my opinion. It's the one that I really like. Right now, completely an undervalued book. Looking at this again, average raw sales right at $13.50, with a huge graded jump to $314 for a CGC 9.8. That's an average. So, huge range there. So buy in on it real low. Super cool book, super cool cover. This guy, I haven't taken it out of the packaging here, but it looks like it's in great shape. It's got a little bit of a spine roll on it. We'll get that pressed out. A little bit of soiling down on the edge here that will come right off. So all in all, it's in great shape. They listed it as a fine, which is probably pretty accurate from the person who purchased it from. And I think we can get a serious bump. This is going into the high grade territory for sure. But that's a beautiful book. Really dig that one. I forgot I was going to Yeah, I think Web of Spider-Man #1. This book is really undervalued right now. I think that Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man #1, which has been way undervalued for a very long time. For everybody saying, "Oh, it's mass-produced," whatever. Todd McFarlane, Spider-Man, iconic cover. I mean, it's got everything it needs to be a big book, and it's starting to make those moves. We're never going to see it at a blue chip status. It's never going to be your ASM 300, but I'm sure that we're going to see that one. Probably Web of Spider-Man #1, and some of that Craven's Last Hunt stuff really shooting up in the near future here. So I'm picking those up, specking on those pretty heavy right now because they're a low buy-in, and you can definitely get a real nice return. So in this same box, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 of the books I've already thrown in the press, and then we'll get to the rest of these. But this one is super cool as well. Amazing Spider-Man 101. Of course, this is the first Morbius. This is the second print on this book, which is the silver background. The first print, of course, has a much darker background. So that one's super cool. And again, when he sends these to me, he's like, I just got some stuff sitting around. It's time to do something with it. So, he's thinking along the lines of, let's get these graded. And he wants a handful to grade where he can start churning books and making a profit on some of these. So any input from the chat, I mean, Steven's right here. It's just, if you see something that you think would be a good candidate, let the gentleman know. He's a great guy, and and that's super cool. And speaking of AOKs, I'm gonna do what you're not supposed to and jot out a frame for a second here. I did tell him I was going to show this off, and I hope I don't embarrass him too much. So, Stephen and I have had a few conversations. He's newer to grading, pressing, and all that, and so we talk about it quite a bit. But gotten to know the gentleman a bit, and he's a great guy. Sent me an AOK with this package, which I certainly appreciate. And it's a book that means a ton to me personally. I long and short of it, I grew up on the outskirts of society. I am gypsy by race. I am a Catholic in northern Utah, small town northern Utah. My mother was a pagan in small town northern Utah. So all that combined, there was like 2 families that were kind of ostracized a bit, and mine happened to be one of them. So spent a lot of time in comic books, and one of the first books. So of course everybody has their Spider-Man stories and all that. I really connected with West Coast Avengers, and particularly the kind of fish out of water story of the Vision. And one of my personal growth, a book that I've been looking for pretty much my whole life, and I've never actually had my hands on it. Steve sent this to me as an AOK. Avengers #57. We're going to get it out of the bag. I'm going to archive it, clean, press, archive, and get it back to as close to its beautiful original condition as we can. But I can't say how grateful I am to him for sending me this book. I mean, this is going to be cherished in my personal collection, till the day I die. It's a low grade copy. I'm going to have to chamber it for rust, to stop the rusting and stuff like that. But I now own what to me is one of the major keys, and a highly underrated key in the Marvel Universe. So I wanted to show that off. Super cool. Bobby just popped into my live on Insta. Thank you, Bobby, for the AOKs. Just amazing stuff. Your artwork is spectacular. I love what you did with the die cut. So brilliant, so unique. I love it, and I can't wait to get it slabbed and throw it up on the wall with the rest of my original art. All right. Also in this box, let's see what the chat is saying here. West Coast Avengers. Mars says nice. Yeah, it's super cool book. And let's see what else we got. We got Amazing Spider-Man 303. Any of these early 300 Spider-Mans, of course, going like crazy. Back in the red suit. So those are always a good investment. We've got a Venom story, Spider-Man 317. That one's super cool. Nice McFarlane cover on that one. I was trying to see if that was McFarlane or, yeah, definitely McFarlane on that one. Okay, so this next one, this I think is, I mean, with WandaVision, we saw a bump on this book. There's an interesting tell of the tape on this guy. So Amazing Spider-Man King Size Annual number 16, first Monica Rambeau. So to me, I was really disappointed in Captain Marvel because I thought this was the Captain Marvel that we were getting in the MCU. I was hoping this was the Captain Marvel we'd be getting. I'm glad she's there now. I like Captain Marvel. I like the movie. I like Brie Larson, whatever. But this is my Captain Marvel. And so this one, the real interesting thing about this book in particular is this is another one that has a huge variation of game, right? So we'll take a look real quick and show you what I'm referring to. We'll go to Annual 16. So your buy-in on this book is super low. So your buy-in on this book at an average raw of 56.53. Average raw. So you can expect, I mean, if you pay $80 for it, 100 kind of pushing it in a raw, but let's say you pay $80 for it and it presses out, cleans up, and comes back at 9.8. $1,300 for that book. So it's just an insane jump. In order to get down to, like, you would have to be down to like an 8.5 before you start losing gain. And then an 8.0 is still at $125. So with pressing and slabbing and everything involved, as long as you come in at an 8.5 or higher, you're in good shape on the book. But you're really good shape if you land in this 9.6 to 9.8 area. $1,300 on a high, just insane. And I think we're going to see bigger gains on the book. It's, I mean, first Monica, they did a fantastic job with her story in the MCU, and so they did a great job on the story in the MCU. The actress has done a great job portraying her. I like the character. I like, the feeling I get from that character. So really excited. And I think it just resonated with the community. So we'll be seeing some huge gains from this book in the future. I have no doubt. I don't see it dropping that 1,600. Now, I bet you're going to be seeing your 9.2s, 9.2s, 9.4s, 9.6s bumping up over that $1,000 mark when the next Captain Marvel movie comes out. This particular book has a bit of a spine roll on it, very, very typical for the age. You've got, I don't know if we can really highlight it. There's the offset that you get on these books. They were not at all centered. As you see, as you go up the spine, that white edge gets bigger as you go from the bottom to the top. So it's miswrapped a little bit. We see that a lot in this era, especially Marvel books. This is from 1982. Your miswrapped books started in about 80, went to 88, 89, where it was really, really a problem. So what you look for in these books is the white edge here, and also where the paper will overlap the pages, where the cover will overlap the pages here, it gets bent down and will damage this front edge and cause chipping and fraying. So that's a couple things that we look for. This particular one looks in excellent shape. That offset isn't as bad as most of them. So, this is going to press into what I can think 9496. It's got a little blunting on the corner. If your graders had a good cup of coffee that morning, you might actually get the 9.8 on this guy. They don't seem to deduct a lot from that edge, as is considered bindery for sure. Okay, so I got a couple questions about pressing here. Nick asks, can you fix miswrapped books in most cases? Actually, you cannot fix a mix. Wow, I can't even speak today. You cannot fix a miswrapped book because it was stapled into place. The saddle staple was put in, and that's how the book was manufactured. So there's no way to remove that, to fix that. You can fix if a book has a severe spine roll that causes that to roll over. That can be fixed, and I very easily, for me at least, I've had a lot of success doing that. But as far as something that comes from the bindery miswrapped, cannot be fixed at all. Over on Instagram, Spiderweb asks, is putting book in a chamber to clean books an easy or difficult process? And I mean, it's all you're doing is send a book in a chamber, so it's really not hard. But setting up the chamber properly can be a process. And depending on why you're putting it in a chamber, a majority of books that I chamber, I do it for a variety of different reasons. I will chamber a book if it's old and brittle. I just had a very, very nice lot of Silver Age books in. And there was like a Batman 12, not the Harlequin, but a Batman number 12 was in the lot. And it was so brittle that it could not be cleaned. There was some soiling on it, and you can't remove that soil without just the book crumbling apart. It was that dehydrated. So I put it in the chamber, and I use wicking techniques to rehydrate the interior pages. And that'll also loosen up some grime that can be cleaned off with proper application of cheesecloth. But so you put books in a chamber to rehydrate them. So I do that. I also have a ozone emitter that I use, and so if a book has rust, if it has mold, if it has sporing, if it's got foxing, you put it in the chamber before you clean it, and you let it sit in there, and that ozone will kill the live spores and make them easier to remove. So that's another reason to chamber a book. But as far as difficulties, I mean, obviously it's not hard to set it in there. The difficulty comes in when you take it out and you're removing those defects. If a book has extra staples in it from someone, it's a good idea to remove it prior to grading. Well, if a book has extra staples, about like if the staples have been removed and somebody restapled the book with different staples to keep it together, if that's what you're referring to, um, most people would want those removed, because if you don't, you're going to get a purple label, and most people don't want a purple label. It's considered restoration. Um, if a book has multiple staples from the factory, and we run across this occasionally, it seems to happen more with Mark Jeweler books than with regular books. But sometimes you'll see where in the saddle they shot 2 staples in instead of 1, so you've got double staples. If that's the case, it should not affect the grade at all. So you're better off just leaving them there. If it's a case where somebody put additional staples to keep the book held together, then yes, I personally would remove those to keep a blue label. That's restoration removal. It will give you a blue label instead of a purple label, and should not affect the grade at all. I mean, you're going to have the defect's going to be there. You're going to have staple holes in the book, or you're going to have an errant staple in there. So the defect's going to be there either way. So you're, in my opinion, better off removing those so that you at least get a blue label at the same grade level. That's my opinion on it. And there are other things involved with that. I do staple replacements. I've had staples that are really rusted, and I've had to completely separate some books in the past. And when you put them back together, you put them back together with a staple from that time period. So, you can take a Walt Disney book from 1960, what was it, 62, 63, and take that staple out, because that's a $5 book, and put it in your Amazing Fantasy 15, and it's the same era, shouldn't get a ding if it's done properly. So. Let's see. I have some keys that look like the spine roll pulled the cover over. Staples are on the front inside instead of on the side. So yeah, that is that's not a miswrap. That's a spine roll, and yes, that can be fixed for sure. I don't always fix them. You have to do it on a case by case basis, especially if you're talking about a really big book. Because there's different ways, and it gets into some dangerous territory, because typically when you have that kind of a spine roll, it weakens that paper and will cause your covers to become detached, which of course you don't want. So any manipulation or any working on the book could just aggravate the situation and make what was once a barely attached cover come detached. And the same for centerfolds, because to remove that spine roll, you have to flay the book open completely, and sometimes the stress of doing that will cause a split and detach a centerfold. So it is something you have to look at individually and just make that determine whether it's worth the risk to remove it. Removing drastic spine rolls like that are something that can be done easily at home. If it's something that you're interested in finding more about, reach out and we can go one-on-one privately, and I can show you how to do that. I'm more than happy to help you out. And Spiderweb, we are listening to Double Platinum today. Missing link, is there a way to make water spots less severe? Yes, there is. So water spots, especially on interior pages of older books, are super simple to get rid of. What happens is the water gets into the fiber of the paper and causes a tide mark where the water stops and it gets to dry paper. So it leaves that like jagged brown edge. Basically, if you take a book, and I'm going to give away the farm here. This is something presser cleaners don't want you to know how easy it is, because they make a ton of money on this. So you take your book. I don't want to use a customer's look. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got my Teen Titans. So what I will do is if I've got, let's say I got a water stain here, you fold up that front cover and you take just a backing board inside of a bag and put it underneath the front cover. And if you've got a watermark here, take distilled water and just keep applying it here, and you will slowly see that watermark drip out, and it'll eventually just all drip away. Pat it dry with a paper towel. That's all there is to it. Very, very simple process, and we do it quite a bit, actually. I do a lot of watermark removal. Most watermarks will come out if it's just water. Basically, all those tide marks is the minerals that were in the water have, once the water dried, when the water was in the paper, it pushed all those minerals to the edge. Once it dried, it just dried with those minerals there. All you got to do is re-wet them, make them soluble again, and they'll run right out. So very, very simple process. Let's see. So, yeah, like I said, very simple process. Most pressing and cleaning is not that hard, and people get intimidated by it. But it's really not a big secret, but it is easy to mess up books, and that's why I don't publicly do videos on how to clean and press, because I want to make sure if I'm going to teach somebody, if I'm going to relay that information, I want to do it on a one-on-one setting so they can ask questions, we can interact, and we can make sure that the information and that knowledge is being assimilated in a fashion in which they're going to be able to take it and repeat the process in a positive way. All right, so some more books from Steve. This is like, it's funny because we must be like brothers from another mother or something, because every time I open his boxes, I'm like, man, I need that in my collection, or man, I got that in my collection, and his is better than mine. I'm lucky mine's better than yours. So I just did the 5 books that are in the press right now. I've got Venom Lethal Protector, issue number 1, the hollow foil cover. We had some issues with spine ticks on the back. They should look fantastic when they come out, but we had a couple of those. In Spider-Man 2099, that red foil cover, so hard to get in a good condition. They were quarter bin books for so long, got beat up and just destroyed. He sent 3 in, or 2, sent 2 or 3 in, and they all look fantastic. So, once they come out of the press, they're going to be spectacular. But a couple books that obviously Venom, huge, seen some big gains from that. Spider-Man 2099, for those of us that stayed long enough to watch the end credits of Into the Spider-Verse, we all know that that's, of course, going to have Spider-Man 2099 coming up. He was on the end credits of that, so that book's getting a bump. A couple great ones there. And so these books, I see, I collect them from my personal collection. I'm glad to see he sent them through. But Ghost Rider, this is Rise of the Midnight Suns, Ghost Rider 28 from the 90s. This is where the Midnight Suns began, with the, some would say second, some would say third Ghost Rider. I consider him the third because, the Old West Ghost Rider to me is Ghost Rider. So you've got that one. And of course, Morbius number 1 from that same era, Rise of the Midnight Suns. If you're not familiar with these books, it was a really cool concept they had. They took kind of the darker side with Ghost Rider and Morbius. Johnny Blaze, who once was Ghost Rider, started his own thing. So you got Blaze in there. You got Darkhold in there about the Darkhold Society, and it all tied together into kind of a Midnight Suns. They called it the Midnight Suns multiverse or whatever. So those are super cool. All of the first issues. So everything came out at issue number 1. Morbius, Blaze, Darkhold, Spirits of Vengeance, which is Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider team up book. And those were all number 1s. And the exception was Ghost Rider issue 28 was the first Midnight Suns book, but it was issue 28 in that run. And they just used that as a springboard for the rest of this universe. So very cool. But all of these, the first books came in a really cool, they were polybagged. Polybag books, of course, have their own set of problems, and they all had these little posters in with them, Midnight Suns posters. And I just realized that, so I'm going to collect the posters now. Of course, to press these and get them graded, every one of them's going to have to be removed from the bag. So when I send these back to Steve, they will have been removed from the bag, pressed and cleaned, and we'll just put the bag and that poster in the backing board, so you can have those. And that's typically how I do that. Poly bags were so cool back in the day, and everybody loved the polybag books, and they come polybag cards. In this case, with posters, printed bags, things like that. And now we learn that polybags just jack up books. I we kind of knew that it was going to back then, but yeah, we're seeing evidence of that. The biggest one, of course, being the Ultimate Fallout 4s. Just brutally, every single one of them has that wicked crease right down the middle from the polybags. They're so hard to press out. Let's see what else Steve sent us. Going over Bobby Dean's books. So this box has some super cool stuff. We've got King Size Annual Journey into Mystery #1 with the Thor versus Hercules. Very cool book, 1965. So, wow, Steve, that predates both of us, buddy. We've got another Thor Annual, issue number 10. I don't think these old annuals, get the love they deserve. I've always been a real big fan of those. So this, I think, is super cool. He's getting right in where he needs to be with these. Once we get him clean, send off, these things are going to explode. We've got Mighty Thor 165. I believe this is the first Adam Warlock. I believe so. I'm going to double check real quick. So June of 1969. Yep, first full appearance of Adam Warlock as him. Average raw comic sale is $254 with an 8.5 average of 1,500. So an 8.5, that's really not a tough grade to get. Some spine ticks on this, a few color breaks. But overall, really good condition. We might hit that 8.0, 8.5 area with these for sure. So those are super cool. Keeping up with that, we've got very cool Adam Warlock, issue number 1. That's a great book. And We've also got numbers 2 and 3. Adam Warlock, great books you got there. Marvel Premiere, issue number 2. I believe this is the first. I'm going to double check this. I believe this is the first Adam Warlock. The first Warlock, as like named Warlock. So, Marvel Premiere, issue number 2. Take a look at that one real quick. So May 1st, 72. It doesn't have a key significance, but not a bad book. Current trend up 25%. Woo! That one, that's one with a bullet there. Of course, this a personal grail of mine. I have been looking for this book for 25 years. I've never even had the opportunity to have it in my hand. Marvel Premiere featuring Doctor Strange, issue number 5. Like, you see a lot of first Doctor Stranges and that type of stuff out there, but these early Marvel Premiere stuff, you just don't see these. And then issue number 13, another super cool Doctor Strange cover. Now, I was able, as y'all know, to get Doctor Strange, like its first cover appearance, and it was a Fantastic Four 21, something like that. So I was able to grab that one last week. I was real happy to get that. But yeah, got some great books. Got a lot of work to do. So we've got Steve's order. You're already processed. Bobby, I'll get yours processed today. I will let you know if there's any issues with it. The books look fantastic. Again, brother, thank you for the AOK. I cannot get over how beautiful this book is. That is just amazing. The die cut on that is just a brilliant idea. Really dig that. So really cool. The Conans are going to be well loved going into personal collection, trading cards, all kinds of groovy stuff. I'm actually going over, I got to pick up some books from a buddy of mine that does a lot of the foreign stuff. So I'm going to go rub this in his face. Mexican Conan. I don't know if anybody's aware of this. Mexican Conan, South American Conan is highly sought after and something that's not real easy to come by, let alone, an autographed copy. So really pleased to have those in the collection. And it's been great hanging out with you guys today. I love the comic community, love the fam. Bobby, you're just an outstanding dude. I appreciate it. I am going to go beat my grandchildren, refill my coffee, and get some books pressed. I got too much work to do. And anytime anybody wants to hit me up with questions, or if you want to join the Thursday open mic, let me know, and we'll get you on, folks. Till next time, traders.